Greetings, Cyberdogs and citizens of the Interbubs. This is ReNDoG coming at you in another episode of Minecraft Survival from the Hermitcraft server. We got problems, my friends. We got creepers and spiders all up in the introduction. Oh my goodness. Not exactly the way I wanted to kick off today's episode, but luckily didn't really take much damage there. I think that spider literally just got evaporated by that creeper. Well, that's one way to get thrown off your introduction in Hermitcraft, guys. Jeez, freaking creepers creeping up on me like nobody's business. Anyway, let's get back to the episode, shall we, guys? This introduction isn't going very well now, is it? Freaking derp! Apparently 650 viewers on Iskal's stream just watched me die. This is kind of awkward. You played Minecraft for 7 years, I've never died to a slime. About that. Well, I guess we're going to start this episode trying to recover my items. That seems like a good way to kick off a freaking Saturday afternoon of Minecrafting. Got a spider on my butt already, and looks like there's some zombies out there probably wearing all of my gear. What I was trying to say, guys... Oh my goodness, what I was trying to say is welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Survival from the Hermitcraft server. I'm here at the bacon mine of the Mobilisa project, and hopefully I'll be able to show you guys exactly what I've been up to down here. I've been down here for about 3 hours or so, collecting some resources and some items and whatnot for today's episode, and it looks like a zombie might have run off with my pants, and that's kind of worrying. I did have a pair of pants down here. Yep, there he is. He's wearing my boots too, which is just freaking rude. Can I get my boots back, please, my friend? Thank you. And it looks like some of my other stuff has dropped down here into the abyss. Oh my goodness. Okay, I've got my pants on. It was my boots that got stolen. Oh. All right, can we get into the freaking Hermitcraft episode now, please, Minecraft? I mean, seriously, I've kind of been thrown off my game over here, guys, so please give me one moment to try and recover myself over here. Hi, zombie, what's happening? I think there might be a zombie spawner around here somewhere. They seem to be coming thick, fast, and in a hurry during this introduction. Let me just wall them off here, shall we? Shall we just, you know, out of sight, out of mind. You know how it goes in Minecraft, guys. There we go. That should be better, and I did see some zombies coming around this way too. I think we'll be fine now. Okay, good stuff. Welcome back, guys, to Hermitcraft. Oh my goodness. Let me show you what I've been up to. It's been a pretty productive last couple of days for me over here, guys. I've been grinding away at our Nether drive project. Since we were last together, I've managed to get a double chest of string, beds, stone brick slabs, stone bricks, andesite, granite, and diorite. And I've just finished off all of that collection down here this morning, or yesterday morning rather. Here, the stone brick slabs. We got the double chest of blech. We got the double chest of not so blech, but still blech. And some andesite here and some stone bricks. Also managed to collect for myself a bunch of coal, which is going to be useful for the doom smelter, and a ridiculous amount of iron. Also some tasty diamonds too. But we're going to need all of that iron today, guys, because we're going to be working on an item delivery and storage system for the cactus farm and the Nethwart farm that we've been working on. So let me just fill up the inventory with the remaining inventory, I guess, with some stone over here, because that's also going to be useful. And we can actually get cracking on today's episode. So yeah, this is the bacon mine, by the way, at the Mobilisa project, for those of you guys who perhaps don't know. And I actually flew over the Mobilisa project a couple of days ago when I came out here to start this little mining process. And I've actually been a little bit inspired. You guys ready to come back to the Mobilisa? Iskal and I would very much like to get this project finished before the end of the season and at least have one game of Mobilisa with the rest of the Hermits. And I know that Iskal and Stress Monster have been working pretty hard on the orcish side of the game. And we've actually haven't been out here in a while, and there's still a little bit of work for us to do. We've been working on a giant elven city out here as one of our big projects in Season 5. Not entirely sure if we'll get this one finished in time. I hope we will, but at the very least what we could do is finish off the arena side of the Mobilisa itself. All we need to do at the moment is install the shop, install the mob grinding crafting mechanisms and finish off the walls of our side of the kingdom. And if we can get that done in the next couple of weeks, I think that'll have the whole project ready for playing with the other hermits. By the way, this is what we've been working on recently when we were out here. We set up a couple of houses. And yeah, what we're trying to achieve out here is a giant elven city. If you've never seen it before. We've got a big wall running around here, and yeah, lots of work to do out here. I don't want to look at this right now because it kind of gives me a bit of anxiety. Let's get to this side of the Mona Lisa that's kind of finished at the moment. And we are currently working on this side of the arena. If you've never seen this before, guys, this is a giant PvP game that Iskall and I are working on. We are working on this side, which is the elven side. Iskall's been working on the orcish side. And it looks like he's actually done some really good work here. He's got some walls coming up, and we've got another big wall back there. That's actually looking really spicy. My goodness. Shall we take a little bit of a fly around here? Stress is helping us out with the walls here too. And it looks like they've been working on sort of finishing off the arena itself, right? So we do actually need to get cracking out here on the walls. So tell you what, next couple of episodes, we'll come out here and start working on these final sections of walls over here to actually finish off the arena. Maybe we can get together with Iskall and work on the redstone for the shop of the Mona Lisa itself. But yeah, this is looking good. I think we're going to get it finished this season. It's not a promise, but I'm going to do whatever I can to make that happen, okay? Viewers from all over the world, I must be honest with you right now. This episode has started off with way too much dirt pitch for my liking. My goodness, man. The good news is I've managed to get back to the nether board in one piece, and I've got all of that iron cooking away in the doom smelter as we speak. And while I'm waiting for that to smelt, I've updated our map over here. It's looking kind of awesome, right? We've got a whole bunch of new stuff happening in the north of our base. We've got the nether green TI over there looking pretty awesome. We've got the nether drive over here, which actually looks really sweet, doesn't it? Can kind of see Mumbo's face still in there. Looks a little bit like a derpy cat face or something. And of course, we've got the nether wart farm that we started in the last episode, all the way up in the north there. Today, we're going to find a way to get all the nether wart from the farm into some sort of a storage facility over here. And we're also going to be finding some way to get all of the cacti out of our cactus farm into that storage facility too. So, going to be pretty cool. We might have to extend this out a little bit over here. I'm going to go take a look at it in a second to try and get ourselves an idea of what we need to build. But yeah, I've been smelting down everything that I brought back from the bacon mine here in the doom smelter. Let's go have a look if everything has been cooked. Hopefully we got all of that iron. Today we're going to be working on a little bit of redstone too, which I'm kind of nervous about, but it's going to be pretty simple redstone, so we should be all right. All right, there's a couple of gold ingots in there. That's not exactly what I was hoping for. I'm pretty sure I had more iron and gold than that. It looks like the doom smelter might have stopped smelting for some reason. Sometimes it happens when I log in and off and onto the server when the chunk gets reloaded. Sometimes things get stuck. So maybe we're going to have to take a little look into the insides of this doom smelter, see exactly what is going down over here. The loading mechanism actually might have failed. Let's have a look. No, everything's been delivered. We might have run out of fuel in the furnaces. That might be what's happening over here. Luckily, I got myself a bunch of coal from the bacon mine, so yeah, we should be able to get this thing back up and running. As suspected, Cyberdog Dogs, the doom smelter is out of juice right now. Looks like all of the charcoal that was in these furnaces has been used up, and that's kind of strange. I'm suspecting some hermit has been out here using the doom smelter because I actually restocked this thing just a couple of days ago. Anyway, got a bunch of coal from the bacon mine, so I can very easily restock this thing and get it back up and firing. But you can hear those furnaces are cooking away right now, so hopefully all of that iron will be ready for today. And yeah, we can actually start doing some freaking crafting now. Just quickly popped over to Iskall's pigman farm to repair my pickaxes over here, guys, and I've just realized something a little bit scary. I am completely out of food right now in Hermitcraft Season 5. I've got 4 mutton chops left. I've eaten all of my steaks from the Mooshroom Island, and I've been grinding so hard to fill that nether drive. I've actually gone through all of my steak supplies. So, gonna have to find something else to eat for today's episode, which is a little bit concerning. But yeah, almost ready to do some crafting over here, guys. Let me just get these pickaxes repaired real quick. In some more good news for today's episode, my friends, the Nethwart farm is starting to come together really, really nicely. Have a look at this thing, man. Looking really nice. Looked really cool on the map and actually looks way better in real life too. I've managed to finish off those greenhouse tunnels that we started working on in the previous episode, and we're about ready to get some redstone magic into this Nethwart farm. What we need to achieve is some sort of way to flush all of this Nethwart down the canal so that it can be collected and sent into a storage facility. It's going to be a little bit more tricky than it sounds though, guys, because as we witnessed in the previous episode, we're going to have to flush some water down this canal, but we're going to have to find a way to make that water stay flowing for as long as it's going to take for the Nethwart to end all the way down at the end of the canal, right? That's going to be a little bit harder than it seems, my friends, and we're going to have to work on a little bit of a redstone delay circuit today, which I'm super excited about. I've done a little bit of research into redstone delay circuits, and I think I've found one that is going to help us out quite a lot. I've already been working out here at a little platform trying to figure out exactly how this thing is going to work, and I thought we could do this together because this is actually kind of cool. Now, let's start all the way over here in the canals. First thing that we need to do, of course, is get our dispensers installed. So I've got some dispensers over here, and we're going to try and install these dispensers right next to the actual soul sand over here, right? So let's get 3 dispensers in here like so, and these dispensers are going to have a bucket of water in each of them, and this is the water that is going to be flushing down the canal. All right, that's step 1, nice and simple. Now, step 2 is to get a redstone signal into these dispensers, and we're going to be doing that by using some repeaters. And let's just get a couple blocks of iron over here, right? We want to get a redstone signal into these blocks of iron so that the redstone signal will go into the dispensers and actually flush those buckets of water. So we'll stick a repeater into each of these blocks of iron and then run a redstone cable down here. And what we would like eventually, of course, to happen is for a redstone signal to come down this cable over here and actually flush or actually trigger those dispensers, right? So this is going to be our input line. And what we would ultimately like to have, of course, is some sort of a button or something that is very easy to get to here in the Nethwart factory. And at the same time, we want to make sure that it doesn't sort of mess up our build that much, right? So if, for example, the redstone cable came all the way up here and we had a block on top of that redstone cable, this is a spot where we could put a button, which I don't actually have right now. Let's just borrow this one for now, right? Let's get that button up in here. And the idea is that on top of this platform over here that we built last time, right, where we can walk back and forth, we kind of want to have a little button situation over here that's sort of depressed into the ground, so to speak, right? I think this is a really nice way to do it. We want to try and keep it as clean as possible for the netherboard design, and when we hit that button, we'd like that redstone signal to actually trigger those dispensers. It's not doing it at the moment because I think it's probably running out of juice, so why don't we get a redstone repeater in here, and that should send the signal directly into those dispensers. Let's have a look here. Let's hit this button one more time. Boom. And there we go. Now we can see the water is flushed, right? Excellent. It's going to flow all the way down. Looks like all dispensers were triggered. Now, of course, the problem is that we need to get these dispensers to suck that water back in again. And that for that to happen, we're going to have to get another redstone signal into this. But we want this water to stay in here for as long as it's going to take to flush all the Nethwart down the canal. So we're going to have to work out some sort of a redstone signal delay circuit. And I've been coming up with a design over here that I think is going to work quite nicely. I found a couple of designs online, and this one is going to be slightly adapted for our needs. By the way, found a shulker box full of bread, which I was trying to collect for the nether drive, so our food situation is now sorted. Okay, so let's see if we can actually figure something out over here. Let's trigger this button one more time to actually suck that water up. There we go, and we're going to need this button once again for this particular part of the project. Now, let's use this little wire over here as our input, right? So this is going to be the button that we press, and what we want to find a way to do is to double trigger this dispenser over here. So this dispenser is representing the dispensers in the actual canals, and we're going to find a way to get this redstone circuit to double trigger this bad boy. Let me just sleep this night away, and then we can get down to some technical business, baby. All right, very quick caveat before I start placing some of this redstone down, guys. It's been a long time since we got technical together on Hermitcraft, and there might be a couple of pretty serious face palms incoming. So please do forgive me, all you redstone geniuses. I've done some practice, and I think I know how this circuit is supposed to be set up and how it's going to work. I've got like a platform over here where I've been doing the testing, and the idea is that we've got our input over here, so this is where we're going to be hitting the button to flush the canals, and what we want to be doing is triggering this dispenser over here, which is representing the dispensers in the canals, right? So that's what we need to do. We need to get some sort of a circuit over here that's going to trigger the dispenser, have a very long delay so that the water can flush the nether wart down and then re-trigger the dispenser to suck that water back in again, okay? So that's the plan. We're going to kick things off with some droppers that are looking at each other, so to speak. It's difficult to explain, so bear with me while we actually get some of the redstone down. Let's have a dropper looking up, and then we'll have another dropper looking down into that dropper. And basically, these two droppers are going to be swapping an item between each other. We're going to stick one item in here for now. We're going to stick a nether wart in there because this is a nether wart farm, of course. And that's going to be the first part of our circuit. The next part of our circuit is going to be a couple of hoppers that are going to look at each other. And these hoppers are going to be the bits of this circuit that will control the time it takes for the dispenser to suck the water back up, right? So we got a couple of droppers over here, or droppers over here and hoppers over here. Next up, we need to get some comparators down, right? So we're going to have one redstone comparator coming out of this hopper, and another redstone comparator coming out of this dropper. And then what we want to do, I'm trying to remember the circuit over here, is have a block on top of that hopper and then a redstone torch on this block over here. Okay, so that is basically how the circuit's going to work. Just a couple more things that we're going to do here. Here comes the interesting bit. We're going to be using some observer blocks over here. This observer block is going to be looking at this comparator, and then this observer block is going to be looking at that observer block. Okay? Then what we want to do is put a little bit of redstone dust on top of that comparator or that observer over there. So the way that the circuit is actually working is kind of confusing. I haven't quite worked it out yet, but if we stick, let's stick like 8 nether wart into this hopper over here. This is how we control the timing of this particular circuit, right? So we got 8 nether wart in here. When we hit this redstone button, this dropper over here is going to trigger, and this dropper is going to trigger on top of it too. That comparator is going to see that dropper, trigger this redstone torch, and that's going to get the hopper sending all of those nether wart back to the hopper next to it. Then this hopper is going to send all the nether wart back to this one, and that is going to trigger the comparator, which is then going to turn the redstone torch back on. It's going to send another flush of redstone juice through the system, right? So if we hit the button, we can see the redstone torch gets turned off for the duration that it takes this hopper to empty itself. And as soon as the hopper underneath this block starts sending the items back into this hopper, that redstone torch gets triggered again. So the more items we add in here, the longer the delay will be, right? So let's add a little bit more nether wart in there. And now you can see it's going to take about 23 seconds or so. I guess it's 1 second for every block or every item you add into the hopper. And that's going to take a long time to get back again. So using this hopper, we can actually figure out exactly how long we want the water to be flushing down the canal. All right, so the delay circuit is installed, which is excellent news. Next up, we need to find a way to get that delay circuit to send a redstone signal into the dispenser and then send the redstone signal back into this dispenser. The sun is going down, so let me quickly sleep this night away and see if we can get this last bit of technical jazz done. Okay, here comes the fun part, but the part that I'm most worried about, guys, because this is the part of the circuit that I actually designed on my own. This delay circuit over here is quite a well-known circuit in the Minecraft Redstone community, but I've actually figured out on my lonesome how to get the next part of the circuit working, and I'm actually quite proud of it. Let's see if I can actually make it work. Now, what do we know about our circuit so far? Well, we've got an input, right? And of course, we've got an output, which is this torch over here. This is our output, and this is the output that we need to use to get this dispenser to trigger on and then trigger off. So we're going to get a little bit fancy over here with a sticky piston and a block of redstone, right? So we know that when the circuit is off or it hasn't been triggered, this torch over here or the output is always on. So that's going to give us a little bit of a sticky piston extended if we put a sticky piston next to the torch. Now, that's kind of interesting, right? Because that means we can actually use this sticky piston to get a little bit of redstone. Let's put a block of redstone at the end of the sticky piston, and when the sticky piston comes back, we will be able to actually trigger a redstone cable. And here's what I'm thinking, right? If we can trigger this redstone cable to actually go into the dispenser, we will be able to actually trigger that dispenser, right? So let's do a little bit of that. Now, let's do a little bit of triggering over here. Let's just take some blocks out of here or some items out of here to make the time a little bit shorter. So there we can see the sticky piston got retracted. That turned on the redstone signal, which triggered the dispenser over there, right? Let's just turn it off again to suck that water back up. Now comes the interesting part, right? We need to find a way to re-trigger this dispenser when this sticky piston goes back. And as we know, depending on how long it takes this item hopper to move the items out of it, that's how long the sticky piston is actually going to stay retracted, which means that we could potentially use this in our favor. All right, you may have permission to facepalm, guys. I needed a moment there to figure out the last part of this circuit. The ReNDoG brain is not used to this sort of technical Minecraft, okay, guys? When I see all of these things, my brain melts a little bit and gives up on life sometimes. Anyway, there is actually a very easy last step here to complete this circuit. What we know, of course, is that the retraction of this sticky piston is controlled by the delay set by the items in this hopper, and once that delay is over, the sticky piston is going to go to its normal position again, which is putting the redstone block in this position over here. So, what we can do is actually make use of that knowledge, right? We want to get another repeater in this section over here, because what we would like to do is try and get this dispenser triggered a second time. And what we can do is add a bit of redstone dust here, and that's going to trigger the dispenser. But don't worry, we can reset this dispenser to the off position by putting another bucket of water into it. So now we've got a whole bunch of redstone cooking. However, when we hit the flush button, theoretically, this redstone block is going to come back here, re-trigger this line, which is going to trigger the dispenser, but turn off this line over here. And after the delay, the sticky piston will go back to its reset position again. And of course, that's going to connect up to this redstone dust and do another flush, or at least another pulse into the dispenser, which will flush again. So theoretically, we should get some double flush action right now. Let's hit the button and hope. Hold your thumbs. The redstone block is retracted. The dispenser did not flush, or it looked like it flushed. Did the dispenser flush there? I actually missed that completely. Let's try that one more time, actually. Let's turn on the flush button. Redstone's going to retract. That actually didn't flush the dispenser. That's kind of interesting. Maybe what we need, actually, is another bit of redstone delay over here. Hang on, let's get another repeater in this position over here with a small delay on it, right? That's going to sort of cut the circuit coming back in here when we hit the flush button. And that should theoretically make it work. Let's just clean this water up one more time. Get the dispenser reset. And let's hit the flush button. There we go. That triggered the dispenser. Fantastic. And this repeater, of course, is also blocking the signal coming back in again. And did that actually do a reflush? It doesn't look like it. Maybe what we need to do is add a little bit of a delay on that repeater over there. Let's try one more time with these new repeaters installed over here. So boom, we get a non-flush, which is very, very strange. And there we get a flush again. Okay, so that is kind of bizarre. I'm not entirely sure why that is happening like that. Maybe this needs to be a solid block, actually. Okay, so the dispenser's picked up the water once again. Let's try this one more time. There we go. So we got a flush. Excellent. And do we get an unflush? We get an unflush. Okay, by some luck and miracle of redstone noobness, I have managed to figure out how this circuit works. We get the flush, there's a delay in place set by those hoppers, and we get the reflush. I'm pretty sure there's a much easier way to actually set this up, but you know what, guys? I'll take it. It's taken me the better part of an hour to squeeze this delay circuit into our Nether wart farm, guys. But I'm very pleased to announce that I think I've actually done it. I've got the button up here on a red square, which is Nether wart red, of course. If we hit the button, we should see the water dispensed. There we go, flushing down the canal, and then the water will be removed again. It actually works. That is amazing. Oh my goodness. It's a little bit crazy down here, though. Let me show you exactly what I've done. We've got that redstone cable running just underneath that button. So the button's on top of this block, and that sends the redstone signal into the back of that dropper. That turns on the delay circuit, which triggers the ReNDoG sticky piston method, which I found a much cleaner way to do it, actually. We've just got 2 repeaters over here, right? One for on, or for off rather, and one for on. And when we trigger the flush button, the redstone block moves to this one and triggers the whole system again. You can see how it works. It freaking works beautifully. The only problem is I'm not entirely sure how much delay we need to add into the system. So I'm going to add 64 to start with, and that should probably be enough. But let me quickly plant all the nether wart in here, and let's have a look if that is actually going to be enough delay for this flushage system. Okay, so with a delay of 64 nether wart in our delay circuit, guys, let's see if that's going to give us enough time to flush all of the nether wart down to the end of the canal. As you can see, it takes quite a long time for this nether wart to actually float down the system. So hopefully that 64 item delay is going to be long enough. We've got a little piece lagging over here. It's taking a very long time to get down to the end. Is that because it moves slower on soul sand? That's interesting. I didn't actually realize that items might move slower on soul sand. I don't know. That's probably just my imagination. But it looks like the flush is about to end. And is that one good? Oh no, dang it. Just not enough time. I've added another 60 nether wart into our delay circuit, and that looks to be long enough actually to flush the entire channel. There we go. It's just turned itself off, and that looks like all of the nether wart has actually been successfully flushed down. Absolutely amazing. I might add another 8 items into the delay circuit just to make sure that any lagging items actually do get flushed from the system. But guys, that is gonna do it from me today. I think my brain is absolutely short-circuited right now. It has taken me the entire day to work this out and get it installed. So I'm gonna say goodbye for this episode, but I hope you have enjoyed some of these redstone shenanigans, and hopefully this delay circuit can come in use in your guys' worlds too. I can think of many useful things for this actually. I think it's actually turned out pretty cool and looks kind of neat. Anyway, I'm going to install this exact same circuit into all 3 of our channels, and next episode we can start working on finding a way to send all of the items into a storage facility over there on the very edge of the peninsula. So still lots to do in this particular project, but very happy with how it's going so far. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hey, listen, if you enjoyed the redstone face palmery, hit the frickin' like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the frickin' subscribe button, because, well, we've still got lots more to do on this project and you don't want to miss a frickin' moment of it. That's gonna do it for me, guys. ReNDoG signing out. We'll smell you all in the next episode.